again, I talked about PowerPoint presentation, notes. Help me explain some of these things. The Buckaroos show up on camera, the Hartley boys, Maddie and Nikki, and they use their EVP power to move Osprey and Swerve's match up to right now from later on in the show, so that they have to come out all unprepared and still tying their shoes and blood. Have we ever established why are they allowed to do these things, the EVPs? Tony is right there.
Yeah.
He can overrule whatever. Later on in the program, within 10 seconds of two guys have an interaction, he's booked the match for next week. So why doesn't he just come out and say, no,
here's Pancake.
You guys are being pricks and it's my company and that's not right, so don't do that.
Got Pancakes over here.
Have we ever gotten a reason why that cannot take place?
No, they beat him up, and then no one really cared, so that kind of went away. The Bucks weren't getting over as the right kind of heels. It was the, we don't want to watch this heels, not the, oh my God, they're heels. I can't wait to see someone beat them up. Person beat him up and it wasn't filmed. It was in the back. It was fucking CM Punk. But, they've established that Tony's a gorilla. They've established just recently with MJF and Shelton. Tony was back there like a ventriloquist dummy, just all of his motions. So they've established that. How could they say these things and what can they do to make it happen and why doesn't Tony overrule it?
They haven't even come out and produced a contract that Tony was stupid enough to sign in 2021 that gave them the ability to do this, that, and the other thing. They just, it's inexplicable. So anyway, here comes Osprey and Swerve to come out for their match early, and it's against Blake Christian and Lee Johnson. And I know you're never going to believe this, Brian, but they had a competitive match. The two top baby faces had all they could handle from these two guys that have never had a television win. And the Buckaroos came to ringside for a break spot. They went through a break with this, but they come to ringside to fucking watch, right? So then finally, Swerve makes a comeback. He hit the heels in some fashion, whether a strike or a kick or whatever the fuck, 9 times before either one of them fell down. And when they did fall down, it was he shoved the guy out of the corner so he could run and kick at him again. And then he won with a kick to the head. And then Swerve and Osprey tried to go after the Hartley boys, but security was right there and held them back and got in between so there could be no violence. So then they had to challenge them to a tag match at All In, and Osprey had his garbage disposal voice cranked up to high on this one. But now Osprey and Swerve at their big stadium show and pay-per-view are tied up in a match that won't contribute a single dime to the take. And they're putting the EVP titles on the line, I think, because of Osprey's voice, but the announcers backed it up. But what does that mean? If the baby faces win, they're the EVPs? Or if they beat the Bucks can't be EVPs anymore? Is this a way to finish off the whole goofy thing? Because of the reasons we just said, it's never made any sense.
Is that how you can get an executive position? I challenged Tony Khan to a fight.
Yeah. I'll take that.
I'll fight Tony Khan to run opening.
I'll take that one, even at my age. And by the way, here's something that's going to be a thing we'll talk about. The security was right there. They've shot themselves in the foot in another way on this program. Because indiscriminately, there is no rhyme or reason to whether security and referees come instantly on the slightest hint of a violent altercation, or a guy can be goddamn ravaged and have his intestines pulled out through his sphincter by a fish hook for 10 minutes and nobody comes out. And there's no rhyme or reason or logic to why either one happens. They established it's because each person or entity is coming up with their own angles and laying their own shit out, and there's no supervising producer, as I was attempting to be in those agent reports that we read, or anybody thinking about the show overall. And you've got to establish a baseline with here is how we respond to incidents like this. And it's got to be somewhere about, oh my God, we were caught unawares. It took us a few seconds to scramble out there, whatever. But there's ways you can set it up and you can still get your point across, but you just can't take 5 minutes to do all this goofy shit that by the time when you're trying to get a heat and an angle and it takes 5 fucking minutes and nobody's trying to stop it and the baby face is just laying there, you ain't going to get any son of a bitch violent enough to come over the rail in that situation. The heat it's not urgent heat. That's what they're doing, stage plays instead of angles. And they can stagger their run-ins while I'm talking about it also with the security, where you don't, the 12 guys are not just standing by.
Yeah, really.
You know, first the 2 or 3 referees come, holy shit, what's going on? And maybe the bell's ringing, ding, ding, ding. And then a couple of T-shirt security guys are coming down. Oh my gosh, we got to stop this. And hey, Joe and Fred, 2 more come down. Then maybe a couple of the fucking job guys with no shirt on. People in the cheap seats can tell they're wrestlers. And they come down there and get leveled or whatever. But it's a gradual thing where you're building the scene. And you're building the urgency rather than, here they all are, they can't do anything over and over. There's fresh hope coming in.
I work with a guy.
Things like that. Anyway.
Who's in the military and stuff.
You said you had a tough conversation today. You want to tell me about that?
Customer experience solutions can be a little rough around the edges, but training our AI with the nicest person on Earth, total game changer. With Kristen's help, even chatbots are opening up.
So I said, let me connect you, but they just kept on typing agent, 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 agent,
And
agent, 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 agent.
I feel like we're caught in a loop. Do you feel that?
Human representative.
Human. How does that make you feel?
I froze.
Yeah, we ask a lot from you, don't we? And customers can be complicated.
Everyone asks if I understand them, but no one asks if they understand me.
I do, buddy. I do. I think we're making progress.
The nicest person on Earth is helping create the nicest AI on Earth. It's beautiful.
So nice. I should probably tell you, I am not a licensed therapist. Understanding every customer, everywhere. That's so nice. I think you're right. My niceness does go back to my childhood.
And how does that make you feel?
Oh, it's... Wow. You learn fast.
Hand Station Rewards. Earn points with purchase and redeem for